General Post Office. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. Isaiah 40:31. KJV. Some healthcare professional they use this terminology because they do not understand the miracle working power of God's love. I worked for the General Post Office for 6 years. During that time, my wife graduated from nursing school and worked at the George V Santorum Hospital in Kingstown. After 6 years of service with the General, I went to work for the Ministry of Housing. I was transferred to my hometown, Morant Bay, St. Thomas, where I worked as a housing officer and area manager for 8 years. My wife worked at the Princess Margate Hospital. We enjoyed fellowship with the Morant Bay Seventh-day Adventist Church. During this time, 2 more children were added to our family. My wife and I gave God thanks for the added blessing. With my loving wife by my side, surrounded by our one and Jesus as our guide and protector, I felt humble and secure as we continued our journey of life. We immigrated to Calgary, Alberta. There are numerous people like myself who ventured from our island of seclusion into the realm of a new adventure. Then we discovered there is no bridge to carry us back to our island where we felt there were new challenges when we ventured outside of our island world into the freeway of life. New highways require us to accelerate our motor to a faster speed. I had to retrain to articulate myself in the language of the new technological pathway and re-establish my confidence to navigate and transcend all the cultural barriers of and ascertain the knowledge required to maneuver safely on the highway of life. I worked and attended school to improve my skills. With the continued support of my wife and faith in our Creator, I was successful in obtaining 4 trade certificates in power engineering and health and safety certifications. I worked in several jobs in Alberta before I migrated with my where I successfully worked for the Government of Ontario at the Sir James Whitney School in Belleville as chief engineer in charge of the physical plant for 9 years before another life-threatening disease occurred and provided a new and challenge. On July 10, 1997, I almost became a statistic. Fear, anger, and the total skyrocketing. That was the day I found out I had prostate cancer. The news came after a visit to my doctor for a routine checkup. After doing a digital rectal examination, DRE, he started. A few moments later, he looked up from the file and curiously asked, "What have you done about your prostate cancer?" I blurted back, hoping I hadn't heard right. "Your prostate cancer," he repeated. I could believe what I was hearing. Panic and fear took over, and then, you see, a year earlier, I had taken a prostate-specific antigen test, PSA. The reading and I was referred to a urologist. There, he did a biopsy to determine days, weeks, months, and a year passed, and I didn't hear from either doctor, so I assumed the result was negative. After all, no news is good news, or so I just imagine the shock and frustration I felt when my doctor asked that dreaded question. Why wasn't I informed? I demanded. I lost it. I was enraged. I could the physical, fight or but reality soon struck me, irrespective of who was to be blamed. The fact was that I had cancer. I left the doctor's office in a daze. Driving home, my mind wandered back to my late father and the physical and mental anguish he suffered just before he died. He literally deteriorated into. My late mother told me she prayed for him to die so that he could be relieved from his pain and suffering. I remembered my trip. First, Matthew, a cancer/stroke patient whose Ph.D. was obtained, asks you to help him raise awareness of health issues by sharing this valuable information. Please take the time to subscribe to and like this video.